What we are essentially studying the subject is, okay, given a scenario like this, therefore what can be the outcome? So what will be the utility and what will be the outcome of what it is. There are various examples, other examples of cases. So one example which will be closest to your heart, or should be closest to your heart, will happen after 1 more year. I don't know whether you will be playing yet. Because when various companies will come, and you will have and you will want to slot them. Day 0, day 1, day 2. Now everybody would have a true preference. What is the true preference? That everybody might prefer the Berkeley capital is the number 1, right side tail will be number 2, and somebody else will be number 3. But then some of them will realize that if I actually vote according to my true preference, then chances that I will end up getting that particular company, or chances of getting into that particular company which is in. Why is it so? Because because it is entirely possible that some of these companies will go for only the top 10% of the class, and it's also the part of the business group. Actually, this was the route about 2-3 years back that I was here. Because once somebody gets accepts an offer, he or she, I think, kicks out at 1 or 2 offers, till everybody stays, and then only he or she can again look for the other remaining company. So now I can look at the calculation and then the following sort that I can vote that this is the best preference. Or what I can do is I can vote them that this is not the best company, so that they come on day 2, and you make a calculation that I don't think I can compete with my other peers on day 0 and day 1. I'm kind of excuse the fact that day 0, day 1 I am not going to get this. I am going to get the best in day 2. Then it is a big incentive for you to kind of push the company which you like to day 2. So what you will do is you will strategically vote. So you will not vote what you actually think, but you will strategically vote what you think is going to be the best for you. So in other words, if you thought a company A was better than company B, that is your actual preference, but when you vote, you will vote for company B. This is important to understand, and eventually I will use few applications for this, especially given some of the current context and discussions in corruption and all, in the sense that when you vote company B or when you vote a particular political person in power, it doesn't necessarily mean that everyone prefers that person more. So one has to really go much more deeper before one discusses people as they are stupid, they can be bought by vote or a bottle of booze. Because the voting design or the voting system, unless it is designed very well, there is absolutely no guarantee that if Lalu Prasad has got the maximum number of votes, means that most people prefer Lalu Prasad to be president. If some X has got the maximum number of votes or did not win the maximum number of votes, doesn't mean that that candidate was not the most popular. If you have a well-designed voting system, then the preference will be indeed, or the selection or the outcome will indeed represent the preference. If you do not have that, then you will be talking in a just as we were doing for last 4 months. Okay? All kinds of allegations, not allegations, we have to see how can this outcome can happen. The third example of game theory which I want to give is something which happened in 1996 and 2000. That comes from long term. I don't think too many of you remember what happened. So 1996 there was an Olympic game. 2000 also was an Olympic game. Who hosted 1996 Olympics? Are you aware of any controversy which was happened? Ben Johnson was before you were born. I'm taking it 1988. Anything you remember about Atlanta? Not the game. Anything surrounding that and all of this? Okay, let's go back to history again. Why if at all was 1996 Olympics forced to be special? 100 years of modern Olympics. So the city or the country or the Olympic city, the city with most people backed or wanted to host the Olympics, going to the centenary Olympic was Atlanta. Who eventually got the right? Atlanta. It so appears that a lot of people preferred Athens over Atlanta, but at the end Atlanta won. So what is the most common response? Something must have gone wrong. Some Ghotala ka. Ghotala is our term, but everybody likes an identity story. So immediately there were the journalists were out and people tried to find us, we had drive with officials from Zimbabwe to Tanzania, Ghana and all. And they thought, these are the guys who were right and therefore they had to do. That is not what is done. We should be objective and try to take out the point from what actually happened. So let's go to the voting rule which was followed. We were all so how is it voted? We are in 170 countries. There are 10 to 20 cities which bid for a particular Olympics. After the initial technical papers and all, 10 of them are left in the final round. So 10 are rejected because they do not satisfy the technical criteria, only 10 are left. Now, each of the 170 countries are asked to vote between them. So everybody votes one particular country. The rule is the city which gets the least number of votes gets up. You vote again. So initially there were 10. The 10 cities were, let's say, New Delhi, got the least number of votes among the 10. New Delhi is out of the competition. Now you are left with 9. 170 countries vote again. Again the last city goes up. Okay? You have to take 170 countries vote again. You keep on doing this till only 2 countries are left. And then it is going to be majority kind of. Now what happens? It is indeed that was the case that there were 40 countries whose first preference was Athens and only 30 countries whose first preference was Atlanta. So had we followed the only one round vote, that everybody votes for one country and the city which gets the highest number of votes wins, which is the way Indian elections are done. There could be 10 candidates in a constituency with the highest vote, even if that candidate would be 30% of the vote. If you had followed that, who would have won? But when you follow this rule, what happened? That there were 40 countries for which Athens was number 1, only 30. Atlanta was number 2. But for the remaining 100 countries, Atlanta was ahead of Athens. So when their first choice, let's say for India, when Delhi was, is no more in the race, and if India preferred Atlanta over Athens in round 2, for who will India vote? And it will put Atlanta. Where is the corruption? Where is the bribe? So that entire thing about right finding corruption, etc. Now everybody is after it. That's the story. It has nothing to do with corruption or crime. It is the way the voting was done. It is the way the people practically interact with it. It is very important that when we look at a problem, we are able to differentiate or distinguish or separate out 2 things. One which is a distinct right story. That means when we expect something to happen and something else happens, we should be able to separate the two. One which is purely corruption or a bribe kind of story, from that this is actually an incentive competence that human beings who actually behave like this. There is nothing called a corruption here. It's a mechanism which gives a response like this. For example, if anyone in your class or if 10 people were in the class who had to say that UBI bank is more preferred to Barclays Capital, you can't look at them and say something is wrong with you guys. How can you say that? Are you getting paid? That's not the question you should ask. Because strategically, that's the best decision for them. Because they want to get into bubble event, but if they also voting to be the number one, then sure enough it will become day zero. Sure enough, this guy will not have any chance of getting into bubble. Because bubble was preferred to UBI, they ensure that they put UBI on day zero, so that some people now took the day zero offer, bubble is now pushed to day two, and I get what I want. So it has nothing to do with, these people are weird or that's not the way. This is exactly the way people are expected to be considered about weird. Yeah.
So, Atlanta in 18, I didn't quite get it. You said that for the first 70 countries, 40 were towards Reagan, 20 were towards Atlanta. Now the rest of the 100 countries, they had their own cities. So basically they were supporting that. They were, the rest
not all of them. There were only 10 cities in all.
But the rest of the 100 countries were divided among those rest of the 8 cities. Now, how can what showed that when their cities were out, they chose Atlanta over, was there any factor controlling that?
No, see, you never know what is the actual preference of a particular country. So let's pick up India. India's preference was, let's say, the following. It was New Delhi, let's say Beijing, Tokyo, Dhaka. So all the Southeast Asian, 8 Southeast Asian countries, let's say 9 was Atlanta and 10 was Kenya. Now, the first round what India votes for? New Delhi. What happened at the first round? New Delhi is no more there. The second round what does India vote for? Beijing. So it's no more there. So what it repeatedly happens is that in every round, who is getting the highest number of votes? In this round also? Because for others, the essence was higher, they were getting the highest number of votes. It's only in the last round, for all those rounds, for all those people where essence was lower than Atlanta, that vote started. So it was a particular voting rule which was followed. Why was that voting rule followed? If you come eventually you will know. Because it is not a stupid voting rule. Just to give a simple example that why it was followed. You must have heard this comment being made for and against a politician. Okay? That when they say we represent the people, there were a lot of people saying, but you only got Congress Party had only got 34% of the vote. There was an argument and counter argument going on between one group saying that we represent the people, whereas all they could get is 16 lakh people from the urban part. The other group said we represent the people because we went to the electorate and they got only 30%. And one is very rightly arguing that in some cases the guy is sitting in the parliament has probably got 16% of the vote from the constituency. Step 1, only 40% people voted. Step 2, among the 40% people who voted, the vote was such that only 16% of the vote. 16%, how can you say you are in the middle of the people? Now, what happens in this kind of voting mechanism? Eventually the winner or the last 2, 3 are forced to have close to 60% of the mandate. So we solve this problem. That is the eventual winner has the mandate of the majority as we understand the majority. In the Indian voting system, essence would have won, but it is entirely possible that essence would have won with only being in a top preference of 26% of the country. It should be the same thing, only 26% of the country is wanted something and they are and that country see all the political leaders is zero. This is a matter of designing a particular strategy. That's what we do in India. Okay. What I will do is consider examples of some of the examples of India.